Okay, you have Houston Texans record prediction. So to me, the Texans are pretty similar to last year. This year they brought in a bunch of veterans, clearly still rebuilding, but at least they have Davis Mills, who did look pretty good last year and could be the quarterback of the future. But to me, they're still rebuilding. Like I said, they're definitely going to struggle this year. So if your first game versus the Indianapolis Colts, a divisional rival, so definitely hard game to predict. But to me, the Colts are just a playoff contending team. They got Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor, and I just don't see the Colts losing the Texans. So I'm gonna take week one. I'm gonna take the Colts. Okay, then you have them against the Broncos. Broncos brought in Russell Wilson. They are really talented right now, and the Texans really are not. So I'm gonna take the Broncos. Okay, then you have a game versus the Chicago Bears. Definitely a team that's definitely a team that's less talented than the Broncos than the Texans right now. It is a game in Chicago. Talent-wise, they're pretty similar, but since it's in Chicago, I'm gonna take the home field advantage. I'm gonna take the Bears. Then you have a game versus the Chargers. The Chargers, to me, are definitely a Super Bowl contender right now. They brought Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. They still have Justin Herbert. This one's definitely a trap game since Houston does have home field advantage for them. But Chargers right now, they're looking for a Super Bowl. I just don't see them losing to the Texans, so I'm going to take the Chargers. Then you have a game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Divisional game, so harder to predict. But Jacksonville, I think they're getting better. They're both not that great team, but at least they have Trevor Lawrence. They brought in Christian Kirk, and it's the first game Jacksonville has home field advantage. And I'm gonna take Jacksonville Jaguars in their first game. Okay, then you have their bye, and then you have them versus the Raiders, who's also coming off the bye. Raiders, they brought in Devontae Adams. They still have their wallet, their car. I think they're going all in this year. And Las Vegas has home field advantage, so I'm gonna take the Raiders. Okay, then you have a game versus the Titans, another divisional rival. Titans, they usually don't play very well against the Texans, but it is their first game. And Titans, they have a very good defensive line, or just defense in general, which I definitely think will cause problems for Mills. And to me, the Titans right now are just too good, especially with Derrick Henry, so I'm gonna take the Titans. Okay, then you have a game versus the Eagles. To me, Eagles have a very good defensive on offensive line. And to me, I think the Eagles are just a lot more talented. I don't think Davis Mill and company will have a good game versus the Eagles defense. I don't think Texans defense can hold the Eagles offense, especially with Jalen Mills or Jalen Hurts. And I think Eagles are just more talented than the Texans. Then you have a game versus the Giants. Giants is another team that's not very talented. I think the Texans offense can have a good game versus the not a great Giants secondary, but the Giants defensive line may cause problem, and I'm gonna take the Giants mainly because they have home field advantage right now. Then you have a game versus the Commanders. I know Houston has the advantage, so definitely a trap game for the Commanders. But the Commanders, I think that the defensive line will cause problems for Davis Mills, and the Texans not great offensive line, and Texans defense just isn't that good, so I'm gonna take the Commanders. Then you have versus the Falcons are coming off a bye, which is unfortunate for them. And they brought in Tyreek Hill, and then they still have Jalen Waddle, which I think definitely cause problems for the Texans. But to me, the Dolphins blitz heavy defense and a decent offensive line will cause the most problem and home field advantage. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins. Okay, then you have a game against the Browns. This will be actually the Deshaun Watson's first game back, and to me, the Browns have really talented. They have a really great running back duo in Chubb and Hunt, and good receivers, and a good defense. But Deshaun Watson, he has not played in 2 years, and I really want Texans to get their revenge. And they have home field advantage, so I'm gonna go big upset and I have the Texans winning. Then you have a game versus the Dallas Cowboys. Even with Cooper, I think Cowboys are more talented, having all the talent like Zeke, CD Lamb, and I don't think the Texans defense can stop them. I don't think the Houston offense can carry some of the Cowboys. Okay, then you have a game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Definitely a trap game for the Chiefs, especially since Houston has home field advantage, and the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. But to me, the Chiefs are a Super Bowl contender. They aren't going to be losing, especially with Andy Reid, aren't going to be losing to a team like the Texans. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs. Then you have the second game versus the Titans. Like I said, even the Titans are definitely looking for a are definitely a playoff contender, and do have Derrick Henry and Tannehill. But Titans don't usually do well against the Texans. Like I said last year, I think they swept or split with them, and I think this year the Texans are going to split with the Titans. So I'm gonna take the Texans. Then you have a game versus the Jaguars, their second game, and Jaguars, like I said earlier, they did bring in talent and are improving right now. But I think that Texans can easily split with them, and since I had to juggle to win the first game, I'm gonna take the Texans here. Okay, then you have a game versus the Colts. It's their second game, and Colts, like I said, most divisional don't do very well against them. But I think the Colts are at this point looking for a playoff spot or a division win, and I don't think they're gonna pull a jack and lose their team and miss the playoffs. So I'm gonna take the Colts. So Indianapolis going 3-14, 2-4 in the division, 2-6 at home, and 1-8 away.